Everybody, welcome back to another fantastic episode of Ready to Die Fighting. I'm Chris, and I am down here in my basement in the bike area. And that means that this is another video about bikes. Specifically, I want to share with you what I think are the most basic and essential tools that you need to be able to do maintenance on your bike yourself. Bikes are very simple, technologically speaking. They're virtually unchanged for like 100 years, which means that the tools that you need to do the basic maintenance aren't all that complicated either. You just have to know what to get and just a little bit of know-how. You can maintain them yourself. So, if that sounds interesting to you, like and subscribe and keep watching. All right, let's get to this. Bikes have what I consider or call like consumables, just like a car does. You know, cars, you have to replace the tires, you got to replace the brakes, you need oil, you need gas, you know, all these things. You know, you have to replace them if you drive long enough. Same with a bike. If you ride long enough, you have to replace these things. Fortunately, these things aren't very expensive and they're completely accessible. And I'm going to show you the tools that you need to do it. The big one is the tires. The tires and the inner tubes, really. If you ride your bike long enough, eventually the tread's going to wear down. They can also dry rot if it's in storage a long time. You can get flats. You know, these things just happen. It's going to happen. So you need a few things to be able to change those. The big one that you need is a air pump. I like this style. Doesn't have to be the specific one. This was like 20, maybe $30. But the big thing is you want to have a air gauge on there. You also want to make sure that there are two different types of valves, the Schrader and the Presta, and you want to make sure that whatever your bike has, you've got the connector that will work. So you can get an adapter or you can get one that has both. That's pretty common, but you may need to just make sure you get the one that has the one that you need to use. Either way, that's the big thing you want to watch out for. There are the hand pumps that can like strap on to the bike frame. You can take it with you. You just kind of like this type of number. There's the kind that hook up to like an air compressor, or you can hook up to your cigarette lighter. There's also the CO2 cartridge types. There's benefits to all of these, but to me, the most versatile and best, if I were only going to have one, is probably the hand pump style, because I can put that in my backpack or strap it to the bike, and if I get a flat on the side of the road, I can fix it there. Ideally, I want to have this one for at home, because this is going to fill the tire up fast and easy, and it's, you know, a little less strenuous and all that. And then I'd also have the hand kind to keep with me in case I get a flat on the road. This is definitely a luxury item. Nice to have, not essential by any means, but you've got options. In addition to an air pump, you're also going to need tire levers. These guys only cost around $6. This is made by Pedro's. They usually come in packets of 2, possibly 3. They're usually plastic, although there's some that are metal. And then you need these to remove the tire. It just kind of slides underneath here and it, you know, pulls the bead off. You can use your hands. That is needlessly difficult. Yeah, 1 out of 5 stars. Do not recommend. Takes forever and hurts my little fingers. You can use a screwdriver. Do not recommend. Damage the rim, damage the tires. Don't do that. Spend the $6. Get the tire levers and make your life much easier. Lastly, you're going to need something to remove the wheel itself. Depending on the bike, it can be, that may be a few different ways. On this one, turn it. You can see it's a quick release, and that's pretty common. So I would just pull this upward with my hand and everything will loosen up and come apart. It could also be like an Allen wrench or a hex key, bolt, whatever you want to call that. That's also an option. A lot of them are also, especially like kids' bikes, will take something like this. This is a 15 millimeter, what is it, I think like a box wrench. And so you're going to need something like this, because in order to change your wheel or your inner tube or fix a flat, you're going to have to take the wheel off. So whatever tool you need to remove that wheel, get one of those. So it could be these. You can buy these by themselves as a single unit. It may be the Allen key. It may be, just a quick release. Whatever you need, get that. Cost varies. The next thing that you will need to replace eventually is the brake pads. Whether you have rim brakes like this or the disc brakes, they both use pads, and if you ride enough, they eventually are going to need to be replaced. In order to do that, you really just need Allen wrenches. There's a lot of different options there as well. You could get a multi-tool, Topeak, Pedro's, Part Tool, Bike Hand, Crank Brothers. There's a whole bunch of them. Pick one and buy one. They're all good. They're just, different, whichever style you like and whichever fits your budget. I would not recommend these. They're short, they're cheap. The metal is kind of soft though, and so they can strip and round off, and then you're going to run into problems. So you really don't want to get the cheapy little sets like this. This is also like the standard. You want metric, so there's also that. Much better is something like this. These are going to be long handled like that. They have a ball in. So see that? That makes it really nice, because instead of just sticking straight in like that and turning, you can come in at any angle really, and you can tighten and loosen. And that's very convenient, saves you time. You have a good amount of reach, good amount of torque. Well worth the money. The metal's much harder, so you don't have to worry about it warping or rounding off or bending in any kind of way. These are Bondus. It's a brand, I think I read that they actually manufacture some of the ones for other people, but this is professional grade, like mechanic grade tool. However, it's not marketed to the bike industry, so it's a little bit cheaper. Cut your corners where you can, but get the nice stuff. Alternatively, something like this is also really nice. With this tool, we got 3 different sizes. It's a 5 mil, 4 mil, and 6 millimeter. 5 millimeter, 6 millimeter, 4 millimeter. And with this, you can take apart just about every nut and bolt on the bike. Almost. There might be maybe 2 or 3 places where you might need something bigger or smaller, but almost everything can be done with this. And this is only like $15. It's made by Part Tools, the AWS1. It works really well. It's very convenient. You get a lot of torque. It's very comfortable to grip. And because it's just the main 3 that you need, you're not spending a lot of time looking and whatnot. I find that I use this a lot, and it saves me a lot of time. So that's what you need to remove the brake pads, is just that little Allen tool. And like I said, that covers just about everything here. The last thing that you are going to need to replace, I'm going to back up a little bit. You may need to replace these cables, these brake cable and shifter cable. Over time, they can stretch, they can get corroded and rusted or whatnot, and you may need to replace them. Not necessarily. You're probably going to need to replace this more before you replace this, but that is something that may come into play. That is a little bit higher skill level, but the tools needed aren't that extreme. I'll make another video on that. Those aren't essential tools for basic maintenance. That's, in my opinion, kind of next level. Second tier tools, I guess you could say. Getting back to the basics, let me get all the way down here, is the chain. So the chain can definitely wear out, and they call it cable stretch. Doesn't actually stretch. It's the effect is the same as stretching though. And so what you need to do is really just keep it clean, keep it dry and rust free, and keep it well lubricated. As long as you do that, it'll last a very long time. If you don't do that, it'll rust and you'll have some problems. But that will also cause this to prematurely wear down. And you don't want that because this is going to cost more money. It takes some specialized tools to remove it. It's not particularly hard, but it's an added hassle and it's completely avoidable. Just keep this guy clean, dry, and well lubricated. So that brings us to the next set of tools you need. And that is something to clean it. This is the tool, I think it's Cyclone something. Chain Scrubber, CM5.2. And this is their dedicated chain cleaning tool. I think I might have shown how to do that in another video. But that's one option. But you could also do something as simple as just a brush. People use toothbrushes. Something like this is just like I think it's just like a dustpan brush, but I use this to clean the bike a lot. You don't have to spend a lot of money here. A couple of rags and brushes and you can keep the chain clean. You can get a dedicated cleaner, which is going to be a little bit nicer. And then this is also a dedicated cleaning fluid. I more often just use dish soap, just like some Dawn or Palmolive or whatever. Some people use things like, I don't know, maybe like some Simple Green. But something that's, fairly mild, and you're just trying to get dirt and oil off, dirt and grime and stuff like that. So just clean it. Something to get it clean. Nothing, you don't have to go crazy with that. And then as far as lubricant, I actually haven't used this yet. This is brand new, but this is by Muck Off. They have what lubricant in general is either going to be dry lube or wet lube. Dry lube you want to use in dry to slightly damp conditions. Wet lube you want to use in wet conditions. So dry lube is what I use because I try to avoid riding in the rain. I don't really ride in the winter either. If you do, then you want to probably get the wet lube. I recently switched to this because it is biodegradable. So that made a lot of sense to me. And it smells good. Even through the foil still there, I can still smell it. It's like, it smells like strawberries or something. So lubricate, every time the bike gets wet, if it's been in storage for a little while, if you're going to put it in storage for a little while, after, a long ride, or, it's been really dusty, if you see that it's, looking grimy, or you hear some noises or whatever, pretty much any occasion, go ahead and clean it and lube it. There are some other tools that you could get to remove the chain, and like measure chain wear and things like that. But again, I'm going to call that second tier stuff, not essential bare minimum basics. Lastly, I don't even know if this is essential, but it's so easy. Zip ties. I like to get ones that are pretty colors to match the bikes and whatnot, but black, white, whatever. Standard zip ties, just for managing cables and kind of keeping things neat. Zip ties do wonders for quick little repairs. We keep lights on our bikes. Helps keep all that tidy. That's just a good investment to have. So that's really it. Allen wrenches, tire levers, air pump, and chain lubricant and some sort of chain cleaner. With those things, you might need a screwdriver. Like your reflector is usually on with a screwdriver. Like a little Phillips head. Essential? I don't know. But maybe get one if you want. But that's pretty much it. Even if you go kind of high end on this stuff, just $100 tops to get all the things that you need to do all the basic maintenance. I think that's it for this video. Any questions or suggestions? Anything I missed that you think maybe would be essential? Like I said, I plan on doing another video showing like the second level set of tools. That'll come along later. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.